Welcome back to another amazing episode of the FitBiz Journey podcast. Today, I'm here with two amazing guests, Nick and Dan from FitDegree, which is an amazing software company that is going to help you to achieve your wildest dreams in the fitness business industry. But on top of that, they are going to start out with share some amazing story on how they get started and how you can also get the courage to get started and able to accomplish your wildest dreams. So Nick and Dan, without further ado, I guess somebody please take over as in how did we even meet and why are you guys here today?
Right, so we met you kind of, in the latest part of our journey, but it didn't start here whatsoever. I think when people think of entrepreneurship, they think of this walking down the golden brick road and it's here, I start working, I have success. But that wasn't it for us. I mean, we started back when we were in college, so about 40 years ago, with an app that would help people find a fitness partner on campus. And I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was. Next thing I knew, I was in our school's business plan competition, figuring it out piece by piece, putting the components together of, who's our target market, how are we going to monetize it, how are we going to develop it, what are the features. We took this through the business plan competition. I won on pure hard work. That was it. And that's not to brag. That's just being humble of, I'm not that bright. I'm the hardest worker you're ever going to meet. And that's how we got through that. Through that, I think a lot of luck is, when preparation meets opportunity. The school was opening up a venture fund. First year, didn't have a ton of applications yet. They barely got the word out. They were at the business plan competition and said, because you're first, you get a fast track to our venture fund. Did the same exact pitch a week later. We received $100,000 in funding to get started. And, at that point, it was a dream come true. I thought we were done. That was right. We were caking at that point.
So kids in college, $100,000. Seems like a lot of money.
Yeah.
We didn't know much about running a business.
That was going to last forever, apparently. And, so we went through and I had to get the app developed. So being resourceful, I went to our school's senior project. The computer science program had a senior project. I met my soon-to-be then business partner who helped develop, the minimum viable product. I think a lot of entrepreneurs think the first time they roll something out, it has to be this beautiful thing and it's got to be done. Done is better than perfect, and people think perfect is where it's going to be. You're going to be embarrassed of the first thing you launch when you look back at it, but you got to get that minimum viable product out to the market to start getting feedback, and I'm happy we really did that because when we launched this app I talked about before, finding a fitness partner on campus, flop, complete flop.
Sounded like a great idea in theory because the idea was you would say where you're going, what you're doing, and say, hey, who wants to join me? And then there was just like one or two people being creepy on the app, and we went, we don't want our name on this.
And you know what? If we put in, if we raised more money and we developed the product further, we would have found out the same thing in a much more expensive, longer way. Yeah. But in 8 months, we went from idea to launch to what did we learn and what can we do better. We took what we learned from the colleges and we said, what do you guys need, right? We never thought about that. We thought we're going to make something amazing. We never asked them, what do you need to be successful? And I think that's something every entrepreneur should be doing is they should be finding their target market and asking them, how can I help? Right? And they say, we can make our lives easier. We do all of this paperwork for group class registration. They got to sign this, sign that, walk over there, sign this again. We said, okay, we can put that in an app. And we built out a couple similar features that really help colleges engage their students. The students help engage with each other. And that was how we got started. And that's when I had my business partner, Dan. And this is when we decided, okay, this is the strategy we're going to use. We need street reps. We need people on every campus promoting this. And then that's how I put together a street rep meeting, and that's how I met Dan. And Dan came onto the scene at that point.
So a friend of mine knew I was socially involved in campus, invited me to be another street rep. And I heard Nick's pitch, and I met our other business partner, Dan Reed. And at the end of this, I thought, I have no intention of being a street rep for this guy, but he's got a really cool idea. And I started imagining this app and banner ads and how do we engage people and what are other avenues that we can take? Where's the advertising? Who can we work with? And things that have never come to fruition, but my mind started going down these rabbit holes of ways this idea could snowball into 100 more fruitful ideas. And I went up to Nick after the meeting and I said, hey man, I really liked what you had to say, but I don't want to be a street rep. Do you mind letting me do a project for you? And I've never seen a more frustrated look on somebody's face. But Nick, being the resourceful entrepreneur he is, said, all right, fine, challenge accepted. Here's something I want done. We want to set up a social event to try and engage these college kids because we need to get the word out on the college campus. So that summer, him and I started meeting and started planning how we were going to do this, what's going to engage college kids, and we actually started attending a couple of small business fairs and business shows where we began meeting other people in the fitness industry. They told us what kind of things they were looking for, and what we didn't realize was the information gold we were getting at this time. People were giving us information about studio fitness at large while we were still in the campus recreation industry.
Yeah.
And years down the line, things we had learned from these conferences that we had chalked up as total scratch would actually become relevant to help us. And it was, Nick leading us to Be Gritty and us getting in free, a table, promotion, getting there and getting in front of people that really helped. So I'll turn it back over. That's when we really started building the product for campus recreation, which was a whole nother animal.
So then we went from this business to business app. We thought all these great things. Oh, it's going to be easier to work with a business. They're goal oriented. They want results. We can get them results. And we got our first 15 colleges that summer, and we thought, done. Again, we got this. This is a scalable, repeatable, scalable process, everything an entrepreneur wants. And we learned after those 15 colleges that, wow, this is going to be a nightmare. We worked so hard to get up 15 on. By the time they said, I'm interested, to actual launch day, and every college wanted something different. They wanted something customized, and they wanted to pay for a standardized price. So we were just like, this is not a repeatable scale process. This is not a profitable market. But we have all this functionality. What do we do? So in the meantime, before all this happened, I got the back of my head, what's plan B, C, D, E, just going down the line. And I started talking to studios. And when they brought up their frustrations with the current software out there, it was old technology. The customer service wasn't there. The product was too expensive for not developing on top of it. And I thought, why would you stop developing? I love developing. I love having new features to help out these studio owners and make their lives easier. I mean, we have customers that tell us features, and when we build it, they feel like it's their feature, and it is their feature. They helped us come up with the product. So it's really exciting. I thought, why would a company want to stop doing that? So we took all the development we had, and in 6 months, we put a payment processor together, memberships, monthly recurring billing, all this kind of stuff, and we launched our studio site in September of 2018. Wow. And that was super exciting to go from May that year to be like, what do we do? To September, wow, we just entered an industry that, with 1% of the market, we're a profitable, lean, mean machine. And there's not a lot of industries you can walk into and say, if I have 1% of the market and I undercut the price of my competition, I'm a profitable business. And I think every entrepreneur should really be looking at that as, what does my target market need? What does it take to be profitable and sustainable? That's really overlooked when people say, I want to work for myself.
Yeah. And now speaking about continuing developing, at this point we stopped and thought, we did it, we're gold, we've got the product. Everyone's gonna jump ship their old payment process or their old software and come to us. And then we started selling and people went, so do you have this, this, and this? And we went, no, nobody told us you wanted that. And they said, oh, well, you worked with a studio, right? Why didn't they tell you that? And we went, we don't know. And while we sort of were caught with our pants around our ankles, at the same time we went, continue developing. So we developed programs to find out what people most wanted, what were the most frequently used features, what were the second tier of features. Once we get past what they need to operate on a minimal level, now what are the different levels that people are operating their business at? What do they need to go higher? And we started developing ways to get customers through our pipeline. And since then, that's been a whole nother experience, prioritizing our development, making more efficient solutions. How can we solve 3 of your problems with 1 of our features? And even being in the industry, deciphering. People say they have these needs, but that's because they haven't thought of a solution that 1 feature can fit multiple of their needs. And I mean, you could say it's been pretty interesting since then.
Yeah, I mean, that was the toughest part, is that we had interest and they needed something more, but we couldn't lose them as customers. And I think prospect nurturing is a very underrated aspect of entrepreneurship. You get the first call with someone, they're super interested, and you think, bam, I got it, they're just gonna come back to me next week and it's gonna be happy-go-lucky. They have lives, they have their own business, and you just came out of left field. I mean, it's not that they don't wanna hear from you, it's that they have other things on their plate, and they weren't prepared for you, they weren't looking for you. So you have to follow up, you have to be diligent, you have to be respectful of their time. If they only have 15 minutes, make it 15 minutes. Don't take longer than they don't have. If they say I can't talk for 3 weeks, you don't bother them, and on that third week, you say, hey, I'm right here when you told me to follow up. They'll tell you if they're busy. They'll tell you if they want to get the meeting. But prospect nurturing for us was a big deal from the months of maybe October to January. And like Dan said, we had to prioritize these lists of features of what's holding you back from doing business, what's a luxury feature, what can we build to put a Band-Aid to further than build up and have this perfect solution. So a lot of balancing. And then in January, we were able to launch, another 10 to 15 studios. And that was super exciting to see the customer support of how much time do we need to put into each customer until they're on their way? How many times are they coming back to ask a question? And with our software, we were able to make it really intuitive and put the right question marks all over the admin to say, you can solve a lot of this by just clicking the next button. Just clicking that video and you'll see a pop-up of how to do it. And it's just, how do we make this efficient but maintain this very personal customer service? Using current solutions, you might think that I need a ticketing queue system for customer support. We use Facebook Messenger. We use Facebook Messenger and Google
Drive. And our customers love it.
Yeah, because they're talking to a real person. They're getting, that immediate response back. It's instant messaging. And then with Google Drive, we're able to prioritize all the features, communicate with development, and then they have their own software that's specialized for them. But we use 2 mainstream softwares before we even get to a specialized software. And I think a lot of people want to just spend money to buy a new tool. There's a lot of good resources out there that you don't need to break the bank to be super resourceful,
Google Drive.
Super efficient with your budgeting and your time.
By the way, I just want to touch base on that. What you said, the lead follow-up.
Yeah.
Because gym owners and personal trainers, that's what they struggle the most, and they usually follow up. The average follow-up in the fitness industry is 2 calls. By the way, that's it.
We do a lot more than 2 calls.
It's really bad. Yes. It's,
Yeah.
And by the way, our statistics shows that if you are not able to pick up, and let's not talk about a GSD con, but if you're not able to pick up the phone, and we have 4,000 phone calls to back this up, if you're not able to pick up the phone in the first 5 minutes, then your chances drop by 900%. In our case, it's about 30 something percent, so 3x less that they ever become your customer.
Wow.
And here's the case. After that 5 minutes, if you actually need to call them back at least 12 times to get them back on the phone. And that's when you're going to be able to get in touch with them. So if those people, the in gym industry, don't follow up, then you lose those people. And that's because they already have their life, just like you said.
It's the squeaky, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. That's one thing my mom taught me. She's not an entrepreneur by any means, and there was these little tidbits my mom and dad would drop of, my dad, pay it forward. So one thing is people think they got to get paid on day one. There's a lot of competition out there. You got to provide value and build trust before you can ask someone to pull out their wallet, whether it's our position or your position. You have to give that free assessment. We have to give a free trial. We got to show that, hey, when you start paying me, you can trust me with your money. So that was one. And the second aspect was the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So, there's going to be competition. With gyms, there's a ton of gyms. With software, we just found out at that BFS conference, there's a lot of competition. You got to be following up. You got to have the best offer, the best value prop to give to that person. So I think that's really, really important in every industry, and it seems like it's more important typically in our industries.
And what was interesting, something that was a blessing and a curse for us, is we had planned so far ahead. We had thought, the goal was never make something and sell it. It was, we had very big dreams of, some would say lofty, but taking over this industry, where many people think it's such a large industry. 1% makes us a profitable company. We knew that off the bat. Why would we want to settle for 1% of an industry? So we built to grow, to expand, plans for 10 years in the future, but we forgot a very important concept that we practically wrote on our wall, and that's 1 is greater than 0. So we built our business to scale. We were absolutely terrified, correct me if that's a wrong word to use, terrified of going, things going great, and then hitting a ceiling because we weren't able to scale. And then it would cost 5 times as much to build our business and rework our infrastructure, hire, what's going on, just to move up. So we were built to scale, but then we weren't. Why don't we have 100 customers yet? And then that's when the grittiness came in. All that matters now is 1 is greater than 0. Follow up. Go to this person's studio, ask them how their day went, learn their dog's name, what type of food that we bring pistachios and chocolate when we go to make sales pitches, whatever we got to do to get those 1 or 2. And in doing that, what's amazing is over 50% of our customers, I believe it's 56%, 56% exactly, came from referrals. So we struggled to get this 1 is greater than 0, 1, then 2, but now those 1 and 2 gave us 3 through 7, through 8, through 9. And by doing that, by fighting, by staying on top of that, it's really to help us to grow in ways that we are now prepared to grow. So we kind of did it backwards, but we haven't done many things in order.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the first thing I said, that people think you walk down the golden brick road and success, and it's just you're here, you're there, you fall, you're up, you're down. I mean, in a week, you could have 3 ups and 2 downs depending on what the business meetings that day.
I remember the one day we were sitting in the office and someone came. He was a consultation guy. This was right when we were about to launch the Campus Rec product, and this guy he's a consultant for his living, but he gave us some of his time. We were explaining our business model, and he just said, guys, in my professional experience, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And
you're going to hear that a lot. You're going to hear a lot of people tell you you're crazy, or that's not the way to go. And you know what? You just got to, at some point, you got to trust your gut. You got to test. You got to see what happens. You got to get market feedback as fast as possible. I mean, and don't be afraid to say, I need 20 clients to be in business. Start with 1 and perfect that experience. Perfect their experience and make them a brand fanatic, because 5 brand fanatics is a lot better than 25, flaky customers that might come back, might not come back.
But do you guys know what they said when the first car came out?
People don't want cars. What's a car? They want faster horses.
Yep, that's purchase, basically. Yeah. So same thing. So and then they still did it, right? Thank God we have cars and not faster carriages and horses.
Yeah. So the conservative people that have hit a ceiling in their life are usually going to tell you you're crazy. And if you want to get past their ceiling, get past where they are, you're going to have to do something that they're not willing to do, that they're too scared to do, that they think is silly. And at the end of the day, being consistent with your work ethic. Not getting too high, not getting too down, that's going to get you through any venture in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And so, where are you guys at right now? You're obviously looking to get more clients, right?
Yeah.
Which is gym owners at this point. And what do you think the number 1 problem that you guys are solving right now to them?
Well, solving the problem to the gym owners it was what we set out to solve. The software they're using is old, clunky, and expensive, and not getting updated well. We're made on the newest software platform, and of all of our competitors that we've talked to, none of them have done that. We actually took 2 years of work, threw away our entire product, and had to make the really tough decision to start from square one and rebuild our whole product on this new platform. And that allows us to make more user-friendly software, cheaper software, better software come out with newer features quicker to solve those problems that we set out to solve. What's interesting about where that puts us now is that before, that 1 is greater than 0. That, he said the average follow-up call is 2 times, and we laughed because we're knocking on people's doors. Now people want to talk to us. And it's interesting when it's not just clients, potential customers that are coming to us. When we saw you at BFS yesterday, before that, people had come up to us, other vendors, once the conference died down, and were asking us, what's your API integration like? What's your business model? How do you plan to handle these features? Are you talking to someone who does what I do? No, you're not. What do I have to do so that, people want to talk to us. We're not hunting people down anymore.
Awesome.
And it's this interesting shift between how do I spend as much time or the right amount of time finding the people to work with me to how do I prioritize the inbound things now. Everyone knows inbound marketing is much preferred to outbound marketing. How do I handle this or prioritize this inbound marketing of potential partnerships, clients, to best use the limited number of hours that we have in the day. And it's an amazing, you're saying make your dreams come true. Yeah. That is a dream come true from 50, 60, 70 hour weeks to now, here's my schedule,
When can I fit you in?
Yeah,
I think,
and not to say that in a pompous way, but it's, we're not trying to kill ourselves, it's prioritizing.
Yeah. And what Dan said was it was exciting to go to that BFS, the Boutique Fitness Summit conference in New York City yesterday. It was our first conference with the product. A lot of people were like, "Oh, what do you guys do?"
That's big.
Awesome. They didn't even know who we were, what we did. When we told them what we did, we gave them a quick demo. They were just thrilled. They were happy that we were there. How it felt, a little bit like superheroes with this Marvel movie coming out this weekend. They're like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here to save the day." And then, the partnerships that we can form from this. I think in the gym owner space, space too, the strategic partnerships, the cross-promotional opportunities you can do. You know, for you guys, it's probably, if you do the fitness side, a recovery business, a nutrition business, a actual, you know, food business.
Accessories, equipment.
You know, and for us, it's, you know, what are the tools you guys need to succeed? So, you know, one of them was this company, FitGrid, an instructor communication. Another company was called Instructor, that it helped the instructors of a business create playlists and things like that, and optimize that. So, you know, which one of these partnerships do we want to go with that's going to benefit our customers the most? And that's when Dan said, you know, when do we fit you in our schedule? Because we got to figure out who's the most important and who's the most important to our customers, and now what do we have to do to make that happen? And with a small team, you know, it's fun because communication's fast, but now you got to be super efficient, you got to be super optimal with your time, because you don't have much time to waste when, you know, you're trying to take down the giants of the world.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. So where can people find you right now?
Right, so they can find us on Instagram at fitdegree.com. You got FITDEGREE. Yeah, you know, that's our URL. That's our Instagram. I would say those are the best places to reach out, connect with us. We also do have a podcast called Studio Savvy by FitDegree on the iTunes podcast, where, you know, where Daniel brings us on, we actually brought Daniel on, and we say, you know, what do you do really well, and what can you share with our audience? So.
And that's one definitely worth giving a listen. If you haven't heard Daniel's story, I'd say it puts ours to shame a little bit. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I felt
give
great
that a
until
listen.
I met Daniel, so, you know, it was a good perspective.
Thank you, guys. And, what is next for you?
So the immediate next step, we're going to be heading to a conference where Daniel's actually going to be a speaker about a month from now. It's GSDCon in May of 2019. Not to date this too much in the future. But then after that, we're working on a couple integrations with major players in the industry that our customers have requested. One's coming out next week. And after that, it's just, you know, what is the industry asking for?
It's going to be a lot of onboarding. I know your guys' downtime is typically over the summer, so, you know, we're going to get a lot of customers on then. We're going to be focused on our customer support through the fall. You know, and like Dan said too, it's like we know our next 3 to 6 months. After that, it depends what happens in those 3 to 6 months of what's next. But, you know, the first thing that's coming up is GSDCon. Daniel will be a speaker. If you're going to that, we'll have a social Thursday night. Dan knows the location.
Sandbar.
And so look it up. It should be fun.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Hey,
appreciate
it was a
Thanks
pleasure.
for coming on, Dan.
It's amazing.
Thanks for having us.
And guys, make sure that you listen, watch. We are, by the way, in the backyard of our New York location, so that's a little bit different. Freezing, by the way.
Being resourceful out here.
Yeah.
But anything for the FitBiz podcast.
Thank you, guys. But please don't forget to share, rate, listen, and watch the episode on IGTV, YouTube, Facebook, and tune in on iTunes, Spotify, and soon on Amazon as well. So thank you again.